All oaks, if they're healthy, will put on new growth at the moon of August, called the Lammas growth. Has anyone looked at their oaks recently and noticed red candles? You have? Has anybody else spent time looking at the essence of our heritage? Because the oaks now are bursting into second growth. Why do they burst into second growth? The sisters were asking me that on Sunday. Well, what do we know? These are grafts, by the way. I have them grafted from the largest and oldest trees in Western Europe. Certainly of oak. Certainly there's anything in the island of Britain is as old or not as old as the parent of this tree. It's the largest oak in the west of Ireland. It's a vast. It's from me to the wall and even more. 26 feet at the base. Said to be planted by Brian Boru. We don't know that, but it is recorded down the centuries and pointed out by the local community as the Brian Boru oak. It would have been well in the foothills of middle age when Cromwell came into Clare. There's a lovely record in Professor Fergus Kelly's book, Ancient Irish Law, and it describes an infestation in Ireland of the Tortrix moth, I believe in the year 842 or 843, a moth that came in the spring time and stripped every deciduous tree. These are deciduous trees. They go to sleep and they drop their leaves. These are evergreens. So there's two types of trees on the earth. The oak evolved from the yew. The yew is 140 million years. The yew was a great tree in the time of the dinosaurs. It has changed very little in 140 million years. At some time later, perhaps 40 million years ago, the tree began, because of climate change we think, the tree began to develop a technique of dropping its leaves, dropping its sail. The Old Irish word for the crown of a tree was the sail. The root, the Old Irish word, was the anchor, and the stem was the mast. So this is a much later evolution of the evergreen. This tree appeared at the same time as the first birds. It's interesting because it's a conifer, and yet there's no cone on this tree. Little red apple. The book of Genesis starts describing this tree in detail. Remember, lots of the Old Testament are written in the Neolithic period. There are notes by farmers. They're telling us what trees are dangerous to the herders. Before the farmers came, before agriculture came, we herded and we moved up and down and milked our cattle and made 6 types of soft cheese. But we're told that this is the tree of the Garden of Eden that's very poisonous. Do not eat the apples of this tree. Do you follow what I'm saying? There's no juju involved. There's no voodoo involved here. Very simple. This is the tree that the book tells us do not eat from. It is extremely poisonous. Sadly, the internet's full of recipes of how to commit suicide from this tree. Don't go there. There again, if people want to get out and if they've been psychiatrically analysed and profiled, I think they are entitled. I think euthanasia is a thing that we're entitled to. I would have no problem putting down a dog or a cat that's very sick and suffering. Why can't we do it to each other? Anyway, it's another story. The lammas, the Tortrix moth, stripped every oak tree in Ireland. So trees then developed a technique, the toolbox, the cosmic toolbox. Trees then began to throw a second new growth during Lunasa, during early August, late July. And it is quite an intense, concentrated chemistry. The chemistry of lammas is concentrated, it's accumulated, it's magnified. And if the tree didn't get its photosynthesis in the spring of the year, it will... The passion for existence in all living things is there. The passion for existence. But I feel it will weaken as ecosystems weaken. As water quality goes down and air quality goes down, I believe that passion may be impacted. I don't know. I